We don't know yet. I'm not sure they're picking a president yet. They're picking somebody they like. So far, they don't really love anybody yet. Anyway, thank you. Back to you, Rachel.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks, David. It is still, as we say, too close to call. Santorum right now at 24, Romney at 24, and Ron Paul at 22. This is too close to call in the Iowa Republican caucuses at this point, with 45% of the vote in. We are cautioned tonight by the guys who are in the middle of these numbers that we may not know until all the votes are actually counted. There may not be a projectable winner until we've actually got the full count tonight. It may be a long night. This is really exciting. We're going to be hearing from a top Romney surrogate, Senator John Thune of South Dakota, when we come back. You are watching MSNBC's coverage of the Iowa caucuses.
The Place for Politics 2012, brought to you by Nissan. Innovation for all.
Wouldn't it be cool if you took the top down on a crossover? If there were buttons for this? If your transmission never changed gears? Wouldn't it be cool if your car could handle the kids and the Nürburgring? Or what if you built a car in Tennessee that could change the world? Yeah, that would be cool. Nissan. Innovation for today. Innovation for tomorrow. Innovation for all.
An accident doesn't have to slow you down. With better car replacement, available only with Liberty Mutual Auto Insurance, if your car's totaled, we give you the money for a car one model year newer. To learn more, visit us today. Responsibility. What's your policy?
Clear tonight with a low knee.
Clear skies today.
Pair came forward to claim that its World Motion Tour is over.
And then it hits you. The right university can give you the ability to help her reach her full potential instead of just hoping she will. Capella University. Matter.
Watching, waiting for something to amaze me. That's when it happened.
You haven't seen it until you've seen it in Charter HD. Call now to add Charter HD for only $5 more a month and watch all your favorite programs in HD. Charter, let it all in.
My husband worked at a power plant where the asbestos fell like snow.
My dad got mesothelioma from asbestos.
Oh, the diagnosis was devastating.
We chose Cooney and Conway because they're highly experienced in this area.
They were more than lawyers. They were human beings.
There was no money up front.
It showed my sons that there is justice in the world.
Call 1-800-322-5573. Cooney and Conway. Justice with a passion.
Sunday morning on Meet the Press, the NBC News Facebook debate moderated by David Gregory. The final face-off before New Hampshire. Go to our Facebook page, submit your questions. Then watch Sunday morning on NBC, MSNBC, and Facebook.
You know, we have candidates for president now saying that government can't create jobs. These are guys with government jobs. They're on the government payroll saying government can't create jobs. Government created your job.
It is still too close to call tonight in Iowa, but it is Santorum and Romney and Paul all vying to win. Right now, 45% in. 24, 24, 22 between Santorum, Romney, and Ron Paul. In 4th, 5th, and 6th place, we're looking at Newt Gingrich with 13%, Rick Perry with 10%, and Michelle Bachmann at 6%. NBC's Peter Alexander is at Mitt Romney's campaign headquarters in Iowa with a top Romney surrogate, Senator John Thune of South Dakota. Peter, let me hand it off to you.
Yeah, Rachel, I appreciate that. Here with the Senator. And Senator, you get a pretty good sense that this is not a night where your name is on the ballot because you're dressed and enjoying yourselves. A little sweater, a nice long evening here. You just had a chance to caucus for Mitt Romney in Ankeny, and I know there were big crowds there. But as we watch the numbers come in, acknowledging that he may, in fact, have a smaller percentage of voters at the end of this night than he did 4 years ago, is that a source of concern? 25% then, right now just 24%, even if he wins.
Well, I think, you know, if you remember 4 years ago, it was kind of a two-man race. It was sort of a Huckabee and Romney race. This time around, the pie is really divided up a lot of different ways. There are 6 candidates. I think the campaign knew this was going to be competitive. They expected that Santorum would do well here. They expected that Paul would do well here. And I think the Romney campaign hopes just to be in that 1, 2, or 3 spot coming out of Iowa. And I think that positions them really well for the states that are coming up next. But it's a you know, the race is on. I think it's off to a great start, and I think that the Romney campaign will be very pleased with a strong finish here, and it looks like that's going to happen.
And of course, the narrative, though, that you know people will be talking about tomorrow, if Mitt Romney wins with 24% or comes in first, second, or third in that range, is what is it about Mitt Romney that the Republicans cannot embrace? There's 75% of this party, apparently, still not voting for him.
I think right now they have a lot of places to land. There are a lot of options for people, and people are listening. They're paying attention. They're listening to the debates and looking at the candidates and hearing them out on the issues. But at some point, it's going to narrow. There are going to be fewer candidates out there, and as people have to decide and want to get behind a candidate they believe can win, I think that's going to work really well for Governor Romney, and I think you're going to start seeing people gravitate in his direction. Right now, there's a lot of people, a lot of folks for him to choose from, but voters at some point, as this race narrows, are going to have to come to grips with the issue of who is best positioned to defeat Barack Obama in November of this year, and I think that's going to be, the decision will be pretty clear. It's going to be Mitt Romney.
Obviously, the election cycle has changed such that super PACs are so powerful in this process. Supporters of Mitt Romney with the super PACs outspending Mitt Romney, the candidate himself, 2-to-1 this time around, allowing Mitt Romney to come out and say these lofty things, patriotic speeches, while a lot of the dirty work, so-called behind the scenes, is coming from the super PAC. Do you think Mitt Romney should come out and say no more negative campaigning, as his campaign is heavily attacking Newt Gingrich behind the scenes?
I think that all the candidates have super PACs out there that are running ads, and so there's a lot of outside money coming in, and of course the candidates don't control that. They don't have any control over what's run by some of these outside groups. But you know, this is somebody's once said, politics isn't beanbag. This is a tough business, and it's about differences. Elections are about differences, and I think pointing out those differences is a valid way to campaign. The candidates need to do the best they can to make their arguments to the people. I wish that they had more control over some of that outside money, but they don't. And there's going to be a lot of outside money. A lot of candidates are going to benefit from it. I think that's just a reality of modern politics.
If Mitt Romney is the GOP nominee, are you his vice president?
I doubt that, but I certainly want to help him. I'm going to be back in the United States Senate looking forward to working with a Republican president because we've got some big challenges ahead.
If he asks, will you say yes?
I have not given any consideration to that, and it's a very premature. Right now, he needs to win the nomination. That's what he's focused on.
All right, Senator, it's nice to visit with you. I appreciate your time.
Peter.
Rachel, back to you.
Peter Alexander at Romney headquarters with Senator John Thune. Senator Thune, of course, at one point was himself considered to be a potential hot ticket, a man who considered running by all accounts, but decided not to get into the race this year. There was a number of people who fall into that category this year among the Republican sort of heavyweights, and you got to wonder, as you think about Tim Pawlenty looking at these results tonight, you look about Mike Huckabee looking at these results tonight, maybe Jeb Bush, maybe Mitch Daniels. You got to wonder who is looking at this three-way tie tonight in Iowa and thinking, oh, why didn't I stay with it?
But you have to wonder what Tim Pawlenty is thinking tonight.
Yes, you
I mean,
do.
at the end of the day, and I think Rick Santorum proves this. This is an endurance contest. It is a long, lonely slog. I remember in 2007, in the summer after Senator McCain's campaign collapsed, and he was riding to New Hampshire in the middle seat on a Southwest flight, carrying his bags alone through the airport. It's one foot in front of the other, and I think Rick Santorum, to his credit, understood that. And I think you have to endure, you have to hang on, and I think Mitt Romney understands that, and I think his campaign is scaled now for an endurance contest going forward, and that'll be a key test.
Rachel, I have never known a politician who believed that he or she could win the presidency, who didn't run for it when they believed it. Everyone you just named made the calculation. I cannot beat President Barack Obama in a re-election. I'm going to wait. I'd rather run for the open presidential office at the end of the Obama second term.
So their calculation is about the general. It's not about who they can beat among their fellow
John Thune
party
is
members.
out there in Iowa and working on how he's going to handle it 4 years from now when President Obama is leaving office. Also, I'd like to point out that we just got officially here on MSNBC what in political speak is, yes, I will accept the vice presidency. That is what John Thune said.
Yeah.
Play back the tape. That means, yes, I'll take it.
And he's an interesting endorsement and surrogate for Mitt Romney, because it was the vote value signs that were put up all over South Dakota by the Christian conservatives, plus the pastors on Saturday supporting John Thune. Now, with these Christian conservatives in South Dakota, are they surprised by his endorsement of Mitt Romney when Santorum is sitting out there?
I can't wait to hear Thune's explanation 4 years from now of why he endorsed Romney and running away from the way Santorum has to run away from his endorsement of Romney 4 years ago.
Let's go right now to NBC's Andrea Mitchell, who hosts Andrea Mitchell Reports weekdays on MSNBC. Right now, she is with Iowa Republican Congressman Steve King, who made a lot of news this year by deciding not to make an endorsement for tonight's race. Andrea, I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks so much, Rachel. Well, good call, Congressman King. Too close to call this tight, tied, three-way tie. What is your sense now? Are Michelle Bachmann and Rick Perry going to have to drop out? They won't have the money. They won't be able to raise the money to keep going.
Yeah, it is a really, really hard call. And you know, when you know people and you like them and they're close friends, you can really empathize with the struggle now, because all of the effort that's put in there. Michelle Bachmann has driven this campaign out of the sheer force of her own personality and her own intellect. I mean, it's Michelle Bachmann's energy that's taken her to this point. I can't say what she might do, and I wouldn't recommend what she might do, along with Rick Perry, but it looks to me like there's a chance Rick Perry has the money to go to South Carolina. He has to make that decision probably on his bank account. It's not going to be filling up a lot more after tonight, so that's the decision he has to make, and so does Michelle. And you know, they're the people I like to be with tonight, because these are hard nights for people that worked awfully hard.
It is very difficult. I spent a lot of time with Michelle Bachmann in particular, and they worked so hard. There's so much passion there. You talked to her today. Her mood today?
Well, it was this morning, a little after 10 o'clock out at Valley High School, and she was full of energy. She gave a great speech.
I saw her there, too.
Yes, and then she signed my repeal pledge, which I knew she would. I mean, she essentially was a co-author of the language on the repeal, and you would never see any sign that she had any doubt. She just plunged straight on forward, and so we'll see what she says. But
the money could dry up. I mean, we're hearing that staff members are saying they're not sure they're going to go on to South Carolina. They're waiting to hear what she has to say.
Yeah, it is. It's a very tough call, and I look back when she had that exchange with Tim Paulini on that debate night before the straw poll. That was a Thursday night, and after the straw poll, Tim Paulini pulled out. So you get into these kind of clashes. Here's what I'd say of Rick Perry.
What would your advice be to them?
Well, I just wouldn't give it, because it's their decision.
Too personal.
But here's what I would say to them, though. Barack Obama is one of the last 7 people that's likely to be the next president of the United States. You're still one of the 6 remaining. They have fought this battle into the point where they've gotten down to the last 7 people that are likely to be the next president of the United States. That's really elite company. They've accomplished something that's extraordinary just being there.
But
and
for
showing
the
what
good
they've
of the
done.
party, they could throw what passion and support they have to one of the other remaining candidates.
But it's likely to go there regardless.
Now, Rick Santorum, in any way you cut it, with a three-way tie or something that's very close to that, Rick Santorum came from almost nowhere, had the fewest resources. He really can have bragging rights coming out of tonight, and Mitt Romney possibly has hit a ceiling, and a ceiling that's even below what he did 4 years ago.
It's possible that Mitt Romney's in a good position in New Hampshire, and you know, he had tamped down the expectations over the last day or so. He started to say he hoped to finish in the top 3. If he finishes second instead of first, which may happen depending on how these votes come out, Romney will have met his expectations. He's lowered him down a little bit. I think he is in great shape in New Hampshire. He can start his campaign in South Carolina tomorrow morning in a hard way, so he's not in too bad a position regardless how this comes out. And Rick Santorum has set a standard now. Next caucus 4 years from now, Democrats and Republicans will be out here working the Rick Santorum method. I think he's really set something, and it'll be a long time before somebody just tries to run a media campaign. They'll come in here and do the Rick Santorum method, hopefully, and the media campaign and the social networking, put the whole package together. I don't think we've actually seen that even in this campaign.
Steve King, Congressman, a voice of the conservative, the majority really of the Republican Party here. you understand it so well. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Rachel?
Thank you, Andrew Mitchell. Thank you, Congressman King. It's good to have his words with us here tonight. All right, it is still too close to call in Iowa. Rick Santorum, Mitt Romney, and Ron Paul all bunched at the top. As you see, 24, 24, 22. At this point, it is too close to call. That is with 46% of the vote in. This is MSNBC's live coverage, of the Iowa caucuses. We will be right back, or backs, depending.
I'm away on a movie shoot, and it hasn't been going exactly